Hey guys, I'm back into our booster box update, so let's get started. So it's another pretty down day for the booster box markets. If you even look at Paldea Evolved, which has been kind of the most interesting or most rising box in general, it's even down. It's at 332. Yesterday was about 350. And is there a cause for concern for some of these things? Well, this is why I go through the data, and for Paldea Evolved, not as much. I did mention it would potentially slow down. For now, right now, you see that the reason it's at 332 is because there's one seller. Seems like a new seller because only 6 sales. Has 4 of them for 330. So this is actually a pretty good deal in Paldea Evolved. I'm gonna get into that in a sec. Um, but yeah, like especially by all four, you'll save like a 6,000 shipping, but it is a good amount. It's like 15, $16 off like normal marketplace. And Paldea Evolved after that, it's heading toward like 355 and 360. Like you already see after these boxes are bought, and then this one is 355. That one's bought 360, and then we're kind of at 360. That's kind of where it might stay for a little while longer. And then Paldea Evolved, while it's like the trend is going a little down a little bit, it's still continuing the trend where like every other day there's a spike in Paldea buying. So like if I look at the spikes, I see 23, 15, 9, and 8 versus like the days in between are 3, 5, and 2. So yeah, there's a good amount of Paldea demands despite like the price going a lot higher. And so I did this with the longest guys yesterday. And I think I'm going to just do like a little bit extra analysis for certain sets over time, just to give you guys a little more information of market awareness and just to freshen this up a bit. So yesterday I did evolving skies where I looked at approximate prices for all these guys. This was sort of the data. I looked at how like our ETB is a good buy. I was like, yeah, it's not too bad. It's like a $10 difference, and the ETBs look good. And then I got a comment saying that Paldea build and battle cases were the buy, and so I looked into that. I'll give you my opinion on that. So the caveat is that this is just a quick and dirty analysis on the numbers. Like there's not a lot of data on some of the other products. That's part of the reason why I don't track them. So I just looked at the best selling items. I saw like what actually had some sales. But these numbers aren't accurate, and the numbers that you get and the prices you get will be different. So you could do the same sort of analysis if you have different numbers. You just have to like kind of do the math. But so I took in a bunch of the products. So like there's booster boxes, ETBs, bundles, packs, build and battle stadiums, and then some cases. So I saw booster box cases, ETB cases, and build and battle box cases. I didn't realize how much more the booster box cases had already appreciated than the booster boxes. I should keep that in mind because I do have a couple of cases of stuff. So I might have to start charging like a case premium for these sort of things. Um, but yeah, for building, I don't know if you want me to go through some of the numbers, but I'll go through like so. Paldea Evolved this month has had a bunch of like increases. So it was at like 250 up until like let's say May according to this graph, and it hit to 300 after like the T-shirt player sale, and it kind of stayed at 300 for a while, and it recently had to like rise up to 350. So it's had quite a good run for this month if you just look at it, or actually this is over the last 3 months. This is a pretty good appreciation for Paldea. Some other things they do look kind of similar, like you do see like a kind of increase. So some of these things follow the same sort of route. So cases have increased, and cases are actually a good bit more expensive than booster boxes. If you look at the price per pack, it's $9.72 per pack. If you do the normal 350 price for booster boxes, booster box cases are going for like $10.50. So there's a premium right now for booster box cases. So they're not cheaper if you're looking for a price per pack right now. For ETBs, you do see that sort of trend as well. So ETBs have kind of kept up with demand a little bit. That's PC ETBs a little, at least. For ETBs, not as much, like maybe a little bit, but they kind of went down at some point and then up. For this is booster bundles. So booster bundles have been pretty flat in comparison, but they've been kind of like, I know they've been pretty steady. This is the graph for packs. This is the thing for ETP cases. This is where there's not as much data. Actually, there's only one listing over here, so this isn't as accurate. This is it for sleep packs. This is it for PC ETB cases. There's not a lot of sales data. This is for build and battle stadium cases or build and battle box cases, so they're about 350. This is for build and battle stadiums. That's how the graph looks. And then this is for build and battle boxes. And I think I looked up something for eBay or something. But that's where I got the prices. Okay, so when I first looked at this, I was a little surprised. I guess like Paldea Vol is still cheap enough that a lot of the prices are still similar. But just looking at the data randomly, I couldn't really see if there's like an obvious sort of buy. Obviously the PCTP is way more expensive because it's just kind of outlier. But everything else, like the prices aren't really that different. Like the packs are look different, but packs are usually cheaper in general. So I had to sort it in a table, and honestly, like that take on Build and Bell. If I use these prices, so it's like I said, if I use these prices, it kind of you might get better prices. But if you use these prices, um, the booster box is only like $1 more per pack than the build and battle case is. So basically, you get four more packs. And honestly, like if I had to choose one, I would choose the booster box for a bunch of reasons. Like saving space, like that's a pretty obvious one. Like you don't have to like store a bunch of build and battle cases. Um, but also, like in the future, the build and battle, the booster box is probably gonna be worth way more than the build and battle box case. The case itself, sometimes like people do give a sort of a premium if you do keep it as a case. But other than that, like people don't really like build and battle boxes. If you're doing it for if you want to rip, then obviously like build and battle boxes are like a better cost basis. So like for if you wanted the cheapest way to rip packs around, you just buy the build and battle stadiums and build and battle boxes. But like when I look at the build and battle stadiums, the ones I saw, that was even cheaper than the build and battle box cases. So like it's still pretty good. I saw this sort of analysis with searching Sparks a while back, but like why is the booster box so expensive? Well, if you compare it to other things, it's actually cheaper by the booster box per pack than a lot of these other items. Like it's cheaper in build and battle boxes, ETBs, booster box cases, ETB case, bundles. Even yeah, bundles are good more expensive. Bundles are um, that's almost $3 more expensive than booster boxes. So I say the booster box is still a pretty good investment, especially with that deal right now at 330. Because if I do 330 over here, or was that like 335? I'll just assume it was like 330. If it's 335, it's actually 930 a pack, which it's still in the same place, but still a good amount cheaper. So yeah, I would say for Paldea Evolved, like I think that the booster box is probably one of the best investments, or the cases if you can get a case that's pretty cheap. Um, some people might sell Paldea cases. I think they're running kind of like rare. If you look on like local marketplaces and stuff, because people, I don't know, a lot of cases have probably already been opened or bought already. Um, I am gonna try to do more of these things in these booster box videos. Tell me if you prefer that or not. I just want to like freshen up a bit, especially if the market's a little slow. I got a comment on like Sun and Moon and XY boxes, and yeah, that's like these are the sort of contents that I wouldn't do like daily because there's not as much activity. But doing these every now and then does help give a perspective on the market. So I think I'll do that at some point as well. So if you guys like it or you guys want to add have me add more things to these videos, just like little side tangents, then I'll be happy to add them if like if there's enough data and analysis is good enough. Otherwise, like the market today is a lot of red, as I mentioned before. So you see like Scarva has five boxes that went down. Astral Sword and Shield had one box that went down and then one box that went up. Otherwise, there hasn't been much activity. Not as many sales for Sword and Shield. You see a lot of zeros. And let's go over the highlights. So does this mean the market's suddenly crashing or whatever? So, all right. So let's go to a couple things. Surging Sparks. Let's go to that first. So it dropped to 209. So it's been dropping, and it was covering quite well. So you see, like the price went from it was in like the 214, 220s, and I saw it rising, and then it was hitting like okay, fine, 228, and it was hitting like 240s for a while, and then it just went to 230s for a few days, and it's back at like 210. So what kind of happened with Surging Sparks? So Surging Sparks, the good thing is that there was a surge in demand yesterday at 31. I don't know if there was like a reprint or something. It feels like there was some sort of reprint or something because a ton of booster boxes were bought at this cheap price at like 214, 212, but then a lot more kind of appeared after that. So all these sellers are starting to like offload these prices. So I don't really know what's going on. Like I'm like wondering, was there some sort of restock? I may have like missed something. Let me know if I did. But yeah, a ton of like there's a ton of booster boxes. This is like 13. This is yeah 13, 26, 27, 27 booster boxes at 215 or less. So that's a really good amount, especially after 31 was just bought, and that's like the most booster boxes bought in a day this whole month. After that, the prices do return a little closer to normal, like 225, 230, 230. But like for some reason, the surging spark just keeps going to drop right now. So I feel like they said that I missed some sort of reprint or something or restock. Otherwise, like, doesn't really make sense. Why would all these sellers just suddenly offload their searching sparks? Um, for Twilight Masquerade went down about $4, so it's now at 290. It's not too bad because it reached like 294 after being like 279, so it's pretty much around the same price as before. And what I saw is that there was like zero sales on yesterday, which doesn't really help. But mostly for Twilight, it's just one cheap box over here, 290. Otherwise, it goes like this is 294, 294, 294. So after that, like it's just kind of one cheap box. So Twilight, I'm not really as worried about. The main thing is that like since there's a bunch of them at around 294, 295, yeah, you might see more boxes listed below 294 just because there's a good amount of resistance to higher prices. There's not as much FOMO effect with that many extra boxes on the market. Um, and let's see what else. Chilling Rain is recovering, I see. So Chilling Rain, the price is about the same, but four were bought yesterday. And where is it? So Chilling Rain, I was seeing suddenly a bunch of boxes were hovering around. I think like 395, 390. Now I see that there's a lot of those listings were bought up yesterday. So these ones over here, 394, like 395, 380. So a lot of people bought up those cheaper boxes. So there's 20 sided crab with like two boxes at 295, and then there's that sort of kind of seller that feels like no one really trusts over here. The iProdigy Cards has this booster box for 395 as well. I think people don't trust that listing as much, so they kind of skip it. This is also a newer seller over here at 6 sales. Actually, a lot of these sellers are kind of new, so these are probably people who just had it in the closet for a while and are trying to offload. But yeah, after that, like we are starting to see it go back to about 420 for Chilling Rain. Battle Styles, which were next to it, the price didn't really change much, but someone bought 5 Battle Styles all of a sudden yesterday or today. So that was a little spike in demand for Battle Styles. Let's see what else. So Fusion Strike, it was the box that recovered by $4 today. So 2 of them were bought. It's hovering back toward $400. So over here, actually, was that Fusion Strike? Oh, that was Brilliant Stars, actually. Never mind. So Fusion Strike actually remained about the same. Brilliant Stars was the one that went up about $2 or $4. Fusion Strike, yeah, it's pretty much kind of about the same. There's a bunch of boxes around the 350 mark, and then there's some picture listings which are a little cheaper. Since no boxes were bought, it's just stayed about the same. Brilliant Stars, I'm just seeing more boxes hovering around 400 now. With these 2 boxes bought yesterday, it helps flush out a little bit of supply. Now I see this box is like just below 400, and then there's this one 400. But yeah, there's like these 3 boxes hovering around 400 right now, which is a good sign for Brilliant, which means it's kind of staying a little stronger around that price point. And there was one Lost Origin box sold today. Otherwise, the prices are kind of hovering around, I think, 505. There's a bunch of boxes around 505, so up to here, all the boxes are about 505. So that's 4 or 5, like 9 boxes. So yeah, Lost Origin's kind of like stuck at that price point right now. All right, and I think for the rest of them, I'll just kind of go in order. So Scar by Base, one was bought today, none was sold yesterday. So the price is just, I mentioned before how like TCG Sunrise is kind of putting a price ceiling on it at the moment, which is about 207. So now people are just kind of offloading at prices like just under it to kind of get some sales. For Obsidian Flames dropped about $5. So one was sold. And if I look at Obsidian Flames over here, then I think that it was just like, so now there's just a few cheaper boxes. There's 4 boxes over here that have appeared that are cheaper. They're about $240. Otherwise, it goes back to about $245. So just a little bit of a discount on Obsidian at the moment. And for Paradox Rift, it went down $4, and there was 4 sold. And then for Paradox over here, so yeah, 4 sold over here. And yeah, now there's these 3 boxes over here from Idaho TCGs. They're just putting a bit of a discount, and then after that it goes back to 207. So Paradox has been kind of in this like 200 to 220 range for like quite a bit this month. A lot of these boxes are actually like um, SE Base has, Paradox Rift has, Stellar SE Base, Paradox or Stellar Crown. The boxes that are kind of the most common, easy to get $100 before the bull run. Yeah, a lot of them are just hovering between 200 and 220 this month, versus Temporal Forces has been staying closer to 220. Paradox has become like 240. That's kind of how they've just been going up and down this whole month, or this whole for a while. Temporal Forces, I think one was bought today after there was like no demand for 2 days, and it's just been pretty steady. Like, not a lot of people are trying to sell it for cheap, but people are kind of buying it sometimes. Over time, like we'll just slowly see the supply flush outs. I think that there's just not as much of it compared to the other stuff. Twilight I already talked about. Stellar Crown is the last one for Scarlet Violet. And yeah, three were bought yesterday, one was bought today. And for Stellar Crown, yeah, it's hovering around like 215 right now. So there's like these 9 boxes around 215, and it goes like 219, which is a healthier price. All right, and then for Sword and Shields, any other updates I want to talk about? Silver Tempest, I think it's about the same. Silver Tempest, the state is like it keeps going back. Like the market refuses to just let it be like 370 to 390. Every time it almost reaches there, like there's a seller putting it for about 357. So now people are hovering around about 357, 358. So there's 3 boxes. Otherwise, it does go to about 375, 380. So I feel like that's like the real price. But yeah, I guess the market kind of decides over here. There's not as much. There's slow enough activity that just one or two sellers can really influence the market price like that. I think I already talked about Astral. Astral didn't sell any boxes, and there's still a bunch of boxes around 380, and then it goes 400. And then for the first 4 boxes, nothing much. I guess the only other thing is look at Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies is about the same as normal. Evolving Skies just run 1900, and the listings are about the same as before. A couple of them are around 1900, 1915, some cheap picture listings, and then it starts to go up. Alright, that's it for today's video. Thanks, guys. Bye.